let's talk about a couple of things. So first, let me talk about the user management screen. When you click on the user, okay, so you can just find the status of the user, and if there is any build associated for this particular user, you can see the list here. And if you want to change the password for the user, you can do it. Or if you want to create a token, Jenkins also provides an option to connect via API. So for API, you will be using a token to authenticate. If you want to create a token, you can use it. If you want to change the email address, you can do it. Okay. If you want to change the password, or if you want to set up a public key for the user, you can do it. Terminate a session, you can just do it. So these are all the default options for a user. And there is something called as a views in Jenkins. Like for example, whenever a user, let's say I have a developer, for this I want him to display only the development related jobs, right? I don't want him to show the production related jobs. I can create a view which will show only development related jobs, and that I can assign it to a user. So that is what it's called as a view. The multiple options available in view. So if there is any view associated with that user, you can just see that. So for the particular user, if there is any view available, you can see that here. And in Jenkins, there is options called credentials. That means whenever I want to communicate to any third-party system, right? Because when I talked about the Jenkins architecture, so Jenkins used to communicate to the third party. For that, we are installing the plugins. Okay. So when I want to talk to it, there will be multiple authentication types that will be connected, right? If I want to connect to a Linux server, I'll be using a key-based authentication. If I want to communicate to AWS, there will be a secret key and secret access key. So for every system, the way the authentication is going to happen is going to be different, okay? And I should have a centralized mechanism where I can store the credentials in an encrypted format so that whenever the job needed, it will be using the credentials format. Otherwise, I'll just, whenever it is needed, it will decrypt the credentials and it will use it. Okay, so that is where the concept is called credentials. So if any credentials associated with the user, you can just see that here, but there is no, this is a dummy Jenkins, so there is no credentials available for the user. Okay, you see that nothing will be there. So this is on the user related stuff you can see. Okay, on the right hand side, when you create a job, you will see the list of jobs in the right hand main screen. Okay, so whatever you see here, right, like create a job and all those things where you can have it. And the next option is called, on the left hand side, you can see options to manage the Jenkins. So we'll go one by one. So first thing is new item. So this will allow you to create a new pipeline or a new project, anything you can do it. And if you want to manage the users inside the Jenkins, you can use the people option. Okay, if there is any users available, you'll be able to modify the user. So that is what you can see it. So all these things are under dashboard. Okay. And then next option is called your build history. If there is any build executed, for the day wise, it is going to give you a graph, how many builds has executed, what is the time. So basically it's kind of a monitoring feature where you can see which time zone or which time period I see most of the builds are happening, and all those things I can see here. Okay. So this is the option of build. And next is called your manage Jenkins. Manage, there are multiple options available. We'll go to them one by one. Okay. And next is, this is where you can create multiple views, and the views can be associated to the user. So this is the my views. You can see the views of the admin user. And next concept is called lockable resources. Okay. Lockable resources is a concept which just came new to Jenkins. Like for example, I'm saying, if I want to define a resource as a lockable resource, if a job is using that, I can log that. That means other jobs will not be using it. A typical example will be, imagine you want to print something on the printer. In data center, we used to have printers, right? So that when a report has to be printed, okay, let's say a job is printing a job, the printer should not be allocated to the another job until the previous job is completed. So this is a kind of example for a lockable resource. We normally use it in the agent management. So let's say I'm an agent, I'm locking it for a job. So only when the job releases, that agent can be reused for other jobs. So these kind of things you can do it in the lockable resource. Okay. So this is on the, these are the options, you will see it in the left hand side. And if you have any bills which are sitting in the queue, you can see them in the queue. And next, for every mission, you can define number of executors. This is going to tell on this particular Jenkins mission, how many jobs can run parallelly. That is what you can see it here. The default job executor is 2 executor. So based on your server capacity, you can increase them. Like for example, my server is capable of running 10 jobs parallelly. So I can increase the build executor to 10. So it can run 10 jobs, Jenkins job parallelly. So this is the build executor status. So the next thing we are going to talk about is called the management. So in the management, it is actually divided into 5 different areas. One is on the configure systems. Okay, we'll go in detail about this system configuration one by one. And next area is called security. This is where you are going to define how the authorization and authentication is going to happen. Okay, and if you want to when you want to manage a credential, you can manage it here. Okay, and if you want to manage the users of the system, you can do that. This is on the security part. And next is the system information. So where you can get the information about the current system. This is mostly kind of you want to see the logs and other things, you can do it. And next is your troubleshooting. So basically, if you want to remove some old data, you can just do it. And next is your tools and action. So this is where you can do something like you can prepare your mission for shutdown. That means when a Jenkins is running, okay, you don't know from where the job request is coming in. There will be schedules coming in, okay, and even with the webhook, you can trigger a job in Jenkins. So imagine I'm deciding, okay, I want to shut down this Jenkins, so I should stop or I should stop generating new jobs, so that while the Jenkins is getting restarted, I will not get any jobs impacted. So if you prepare the Jenkins for shutdown, okay, so it will receive all the requests and keep them in a queue, and it will allow me to restart it. Once the restart is completed, the jobs in the queue will be executed. So these kind of functionalities are available. So system level functionalities, you can just see it here. So these are only 5 sections you can see in the Jenkins.